How would you describe your sound?
I think I take influences from like very specific artists, and it's been like I'd say like pretty calculated on like what I want my sound to be going forward. I think like the best way to kind of put it, if it had to have like a genre, would be like anti-pop. But like I would hope people would hear like some influences from a lot of other places, but I think my music kind of fits that box.
I mean, who are some of your musical influences then? Anti-pop is kind of a difficult genre to explore.
Ambiguous.
it's a,
Yeah.
it's a new concept.
Yeah. I think like right now, I think in the music that's being released right now, I think the biggest influences for me in like the past 2 years have been guys like Dominic Fike and Aries and even the 1975, though they're not really anti-pop.
They
There's a
kind
guy
of are
called,
though.
yeah, they're all over the place, so it kind of works. But John Bellion is like a huge influence of mine too. He comes from like a few towns over from where I grew up, so he's kind of like a local legend. But yeah, I take it from all over though. Like I was on like a Grateful Dead kick for a long time and drew some stuff out of listening to their music, so it comes from everywhere. Yeah.
Your single Try You is out now. What inspired the song?
Um, that's a good question. That like when we were making the song, it was like definitely a blur of just making a lot of tracks at the same time. And then we spent like 3 weeks just working on that song on Try You. And I remember a lot in those 3 weeks, but I knew at the time of like writing the song, I was going through a lot and I was searching for something and I was searching for healing in a lot of different ways. I was burned by some people, and I think that the song, I it really came from a 2 years younger version of me going through just like I guess like the first obstacles of like adulthood. Like I'm like 23 now, so I was like 21 at the time when I wrote most of that song. And so I think just like life, like the reality that like, oh, this is what life is not handed to you in any way. And like if you really want something, you have to go get it. And so I was hungry and I was like confused at the same time, I think is
Hmm.
like a good way to put it.
Is that what you feel then listeners can relate to about it? People around your age connect to it because, they're just starting out in life and they're hungry and they're wanting to get, what they can, start their lives off.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope so, that that's a piece of it. I know like that song was very intentionally written to be a song where it's like it could really be about whatever you want to put in that box, because it's just talking about this idea of being broken down and trying different stuff, and those things aren't working. And like I think right now what the song kind of means to me is like it takes kind of the way I think about it, like I'm gearing up to perform it soon, and I like to think of like, okay, what it is like in the front of my mind while I'm performing, like does this song mean to me now, which is like how I love to write songs, because then that song could grow with me throughout like next few years, and it doesn't have to be about like that one specific thing that happened that I have to relive every time I play the
Right.
song. So right now, like it's just the idea of like somebody came into my life about like a year and a half ago that really made me see a different side of life and opened up my perspective in a lot of different ways. And it's just like I've been, like speaking about my current relationship right now, is like this person has just shown me so much of what life's about and like what true love is. Like I feel like I thought I felt that until that's like kind of what the song means to me now, is like I just think of my relationship, but at the time I wasn't even writing it from that kind of perspective.
Oh yeah. You had no foresight into seeing you'd meet
Yeah.
this great person.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Well, you're a part of social media. What kind of fan feedback have you been receiving to the track?
It seems good. It seems like everybody definitely who I would consider like in my circles like definitely loves it. which is cool. And then like the fan who hasn't heard any music from me, and because I kind of took like a 2-year hiatus to just like get better and just like work on a lot of things I knew I need to work on. And so I feel like that's on like full display in this song and the songs we're gearing up to release. So I think everybody's excited about it. I feel like there was a low expectation. So it's like it's going to be like, now it's like, all right, I gotta top that, gotta keep going. But that's just how it goes.
That's called the music industry.
In a nutshell.
Well, I know how much hand you had when it came to songwriting this particular song. How much of a hand do you have when it comes to the production side of your music?
Some stuff a lot, some stuff not a lot. I like to think that like I've worked with a lot of people who have big egos, whether it's they're trying to put their imprint onto a song or a project when it doesn't need to be there. So I'm like super conscious of that in my own music. So what kind of happens now with our process, I have 2 guys who I'd consider like my producers. We pretty much I exclusively work with these 2 guys. They're like my best friends. And so a lot of times now it's like I'll start something on the guitar, and then that'll develop into my producer will take it and it'll develop into like something completely different. Or my producer will bring me like a full-blown chorus. And I'm like, that's perfect. Tweak this a little bit to match kind of where I see it going, and like develop the whole song around that chorus he built out. So it kind of can vary, I would say. But I'm very involved in the production side of things. Like I've been a producer now for like 7 or 8 years, but try and work with people who are better than me, you know.
Well, you mentioned that you're going to be performing this live soon. Is it a live stream? Are you guys doing a in-person event?
Yeah, so we're actually doing I'm playing a show with a band named Take Lead on November 12th in Orlando. So actually technically hasn't been announced yet, but it doesn't matter. So yes, I haven't played in a long time because of COVID and everything going on.
Right.
And then this year it's just been like, should people playing? Okay, bigger artists are playing, or the smaller artists gonna follow? And it's kind of trickling now. So hopefully it stays happening, you know.
Are there any plans for a full album, an EP coming up?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Not entirely sure yet, I think, is the safest answer. Debating between stuff, but one thing I know of is like I don't want to be locked into like any style early on.
Sure.
And like I want to be able to like move around, because I'm just somebody who my musical tastes, like maybe like you, change from week to week and month to month of like what I'm listening to. So because that makes like thinking about an EP and an album harder than it would have been in the past, where everything I think sounded a bit more similar, but more boring in my opinion. So
do you have a dream artist you'd love to collab with in the future?
I have like my unrealistic artists, and then like this could actually might happen one day. The realistic artist, and still I don't even know how realistic this is, like maybe like 5 years in the future this could happen. But that guy I mentioned, John Bellion, I don't know if you're familiar with his music at all.
Yes,
Oh, you are. Sick. Okay, sick. I feel like the reason I'm like that could actually work is because I know so many people around him that I just haven't actually. I've met his dad, like so I'm like, it's bound to happen one day. Yeah, and then like my probably unrealistic one would be like Max Martin, or like Kanye would be like absolutely insane. Like any of those like top 5 producers.
Dreams.
Yeah, like that'd be crazy.
Well, then what would you like to say to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible music you make, no matter what genre you pick this week?
Well, I'd say thanks for sticking around and enjoying the journey. I like to think that my music like genuinely helps people get through their day. Like so many artists have been like the soundtrack to my life, and if I have the opportunity to be yours, like that blows my mind. So yeah, thanks for sticking around, and don't expect anything. Expect the unexpected.
There you go. That's better. I think don't expect anything. It's a little low bar for you.
Yeah, I'm really setting it low.
It's been a 2-year hiatus. You haven't dropped off the face of the earth.